podcast is back. Sorry I took a long break. I will explain. Really, the only explanation I have is that I was having a hard time grasping with the concept of making content because I don't like the word content. I wanted to put more effort into it. This is still going to be a somewhat low effort episode, but I need to get myself back into the swing of doing it. So here we are. I just really didn't want to be contributing to the glut of stuff that's online. I wanted to be a little bit more I wanted to think more seriously about the things that I'm putting in front of people. So I do have a more well-researched episode coming next. This one's gonna be like, hey, I'm back. What have I been up to? So if that doesn't interest you, skip to the next one if it's out yet. Otherwise, we're going to chat. This is kind of a casual one. I just didn't want to make slop. And I don't think I was making like slop, because it is like a podcast requires you to sit down and listen, you know? I was making long form stuff. I really wanted to slow down a bit. My brain was not in the right place to be doing it all the time, balancing that with like writing and work and all these other things I was doing. But now I think I'm in the right place to be doing it again. So here we are. I want to try to get more guests on. I want to try to just make it more of a conversational, we're going to really think about things kind of podcast instead of just what were the hot pop culture topics of the week, you know? Because I have had a shift within myself. I think I want to slow down my life quite a bit. I would really like to not be as online. I would really like to just... My dog is here and she doesn't like that I'm talking into a mic. She never likes it. She has never enjoyed that I do this. But she's here and she's listening. Phoebe, do you want to say hi? Here. If you are watching video, she's on screen, but also breathe into the mic, baby. There we go. Yeah, I just don't want anything that I do to feel like glut. You know, that's not my vibe. That's not what I want to do. I was just talking to my boyfriend last night, 2 nights ago, doesn't matter. We were looking at Instagram Reels on the Friends page. That's a new thing. Since I stopped doing the podcast, I think there's a friends page on Reels where you can see everything that all your friends have liked. And not only does that suck from a privacy perspective, I don't need to know everything that you guys are doing. It sucks because you can see exactly what kind of junk everybody is consuming. And you can put it into like consumer categories. It's like the easiest way to see like if your friend is in a database somewhere where they're being sold things through like Amazon or whatever. Like this is the number one way for you to maybe see what consumer category they exist within. Because there's like girl slop, which is like, okay, we were really categorizing. There's like girl slop, there was boy slop, there was book slop, think piece slop. There's so many different kinds of slop. Like for girls, right? It's like this baby's on screen. Look at the baby doing a baby thing. Look at the puppy. Look at these girls are hanging out and they're friends and they're doing a little skit. You know, girl dinner, that kind of thing is like girl slop. Boy slop is like pranks, boys hanging out. Once again, it would be like a boy skit, you know? Sometimes it's like DJ videos. Like there's different things you can put people in, and that's scary. I don't want this to feel like I'm trying to pander to you, because I really don't want to. I'm just doing what I want to do. And we were noticing that there's essays. There are essays on Reels that they're not saying anything, and I get them all the time. It'll be like what polka dots say about the whimsification of girls in New York City. And it's like, I actually don't care. That doesn't mean anything. That's not real. You're making shit up. Stop talking. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So that was part of why. And I'm still noticing that in my feeds, just like seeing garbage content by people that either want to be influencers or are influencers or whatever. I don't like it. If this is something I'm going to do, and if it's ever successful for whatever reason, I would really like to distance myself from the concept of influencing. I'd like to distance myself from the concept of being a content creator. I literally am just here to talk. I just have so many feelings and thoughts. And that's what a podcast should be for. It should be for people that have lots of too many thoughts. They're thinking too much. And that's what I have. So, there you go. There's just, I think I've mentioned before on this podcast, like the term "inshittification." It just feels like the inshittification of everything has gotten a lot worse since I stopped doing the podcast. And, that's, I'm not spiritually aligned with, the speeding up of everything. I am not aligned with putting things out there just for attention. Yes, I'm doing this for attention, but also I'm doing it in a way that is organic to my soul and not because I'm trying to please an algorithm. I barely tag these. Yeah, I'll do a clickbaity title, but that's just fun. That's me having fun. And I don't want to be pressured to post regularly. I would like to start doing these more let me contradict myself really fast. I want to start doing these more regularly, but I don't want to be stuck on a schedule that's going to please YouTube, Spotify, any of these things. Also, all these platforms are evil, so I'm just using them because they're what you use. And I only want to do anything because I want to do it. That's really what I'm saying. And I don't want to be slop. By the way, do we know that slop, the word slop, comes from an anti-Semitic meme? Because I feel like I've been going okay, so blah, 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 blah. Rewinding. Trying to be more conscious about the terms that I use, in a woke way. We're gonna be woke again. It's woke 2.0. I can say that there are things that people say now that make me uncomfortable. I don't really like that slop, even though I use it and I think it is a fitting term for many things online. I don't like that it comes from, there's a 4chan term, which apparently, I had to Google it, means fast food being pushed by Jewish people. I really don't understand how you get there. I don't understand anti-Semitism generally. So there you go. But that is where the term slop got started. That is the origin, at least in the way it's being used now, as in stuff that gets pushed on the average person that dumbs them down, essentially. So I just want to let's be wary of that.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
It's not Jewish people doing it, it's the tech companies. The tech companies are owned by many different kinds of people. A word can get so far past its original use, and slop was also a pre-existing word, right? You feed pigs slop. So I guess it is what it is. People have already started using it in much more neutral ways. But, just something to think about. How 4chan terms are everything people say now, blank maxing, and I feel like there has to be another one, calling people chads, those things, getting into the vernacular. Just something noodle on, just because I feel like I came of age on the internet in a period where for a while 4chan wasn't that insane to be using, but then at a certain point it became very insane to be using, and then it got really racist, and there were always racist people on 4chan, but yeah, it just has really negative connotations for me. So anything that stems from there, I'm always going to be hey, how do we get there? And usually you go back and the term just is racist. So yeah, and I'm not the only person that I think thinks about these things. There's that Lily Allen song now. It's giving 4chan. which I do think is corny. It's corny. How did we get here? How did we get here? Yeah, just being mindful of the language that we use. Being mindful in general, I think, is maybe the theme of this episode. I do think most things that people watch online now are garbage. I think most things I watch online are garbage. I'm not special. Like, I'm on the reels. I watch YouTube videos, very few things are worth your time and energy nowadays. So yeah, I would rather try to be worth some time and energy. Yeah. Even just serving as a reminder that you can quit at any time. You can stop being on the reels. You can stop looking at your phone. Just keep your earbuds in and listen to a podcast or watch a movie or something else. Read a book. I have a bunch of books back here. I've read maybe 50% of them. Not even 20 something. Like, there's so many other things I could be doing with my time. And you too. Yeah. I want us to remember that we have agency. A lot of these companies, Meta, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, like ByteDance, that's who owns TikTok, right? They are making so much of money off of you through advertising. Any community you think that you have online is pretty much being bought and sold by all these tech companies. So just something to think about. Maybe we shouldn't be spending so much time on them. So that is why I stopped. But the general conversation I wanted to have today is sort of situated around that, because I am just wondering if there's anything worth consuming now, like beyond the internet, right? What have you watched recently that felt like it enriched you in some way? Like, not that it entertained you, not that it made you happy, but that it really made you think about something or like change your perspective on the world. I would love to hear. Sound off in the comments. Because I'm really trying to stay up to date with stuff. And a lot of TV, especially, is just really not working for me. I'm also noticing as I'm talking now, somebody left a comment on one of these videos once that was like, you do upspeak too much. And I'm like, I'm ending every sentence with a question, but I think that is just how I talk, so shut the fuck up. So I've just watched a lot of stuff recently where I just feel like I didn't really gain anything from the experience of watching it, and it's like barely even entertaining. The main thing I'm thinking of right now is, unfortunately, I Love LA. I just feel like, and I read this really good article about it on Substack that I can link wherever, description. It's by Cafe Hysteria, but it's on Hyperlocal Entertainment. I just think that I Love LA is a little bit too hyperlocal. And by hyperlocal, I mean that it relies on LA in-jokes for humor, which is something that other shows do. Like, I'm from Portland, I live in Portland. Portlandia relies a lot on niche Portland references for its humor. And it kind of shocks me that so many people think that Portlandia is funny, because a lot of it is only funny to me because I know what they're talking about. And I know Portlandia played with a lot of like cultural archetypes that were common at that time and popular, hipster culture, whatever, had a lot of legibility to the average person, or at least to people that watch IFC. That made it, I think, maybe more palatable to the average person. But a lot of stuff in I Love LA, like the bagel shop they go to, standing in front of, is it Towers of the Trees or something of the Trees? I don't give a fuck. You know what? I don't live in LA, and I don't really like LA that much. So maybe that's why I don't like the show. I don't have any genuine beef with LA. It's not a place I would ever live. But I feel like it's relying a little bit too much on these niche references to draw in the viewer that previous shows that it keeps getting compared to, using Sex and the City and Girls as the Cafe Hysteria post also does. Those shows once again, are relying more on archetypes that are legible to the average person, even though they take place in New York City, and there are some niche references to things that happen in New York City. The average location that they go to in those shows is made up, or if it is satirical, it doesn't necessarily rely on you knowing about that specific thing to be funny. Thinking specifically, once again referencing this post, of Balzac, which is the Sex and the City version of Balthazar, which is a popular, expensive, kind of overrated restaurant in New York City. Yes, that's a niche reference that somebody in New York City would understand. You're like parodying Balthazar, but the average person also can just read it as, oh, this is like the most overrated restaurant in the city. Gotcha. Like, that's where the humor comes in. You know what I mean? The humor is not just like, we went to Erewhon. Isn't it funny that we went to Erewhon? Like, it's not funny that you went to Erewhon. It's like, no one gives a fuck. No one cares. No one cares about Erewhon that doesn't live in LA. That is kind of my feelings on the show at this point. There are things about it that I can see growing on me. The first episode I liked okay. It just seems like the farther we get into it, the more it's about like influencer culture. There are characters that I like that maybe we'll expand on. I like that the dialogue is like snippy. Like Rachel said, it can write. I just don't think the material is there yet. This is also just a thing for me where, because people are comparing it to Girls in Sex and the City, I'm trying my best not to do the same thing, because I think every show should be taken on its own merits. But I also, that being said, Sex and the City and Girls are shows about people that are not in the industry. Like, yes, Samantha works for a PR company, whatever, but it's not like a show about being in the industry, whereas I Love LA, being a show about LA, is very much about working in the industry, and I just have no interest in that. My least favorite kinds of books, movies, TV shows, anything, are like metatextual stories about like, this is how hard it is to work in this industry. This is how difficult it is to make a movie. Those are not things that I or any other average person actually cares about. And the reason these things get good reviews, once again, let me go on my little digression. Things like that get good reviews, like that Seth Rogen show also, that's about like him being in the industry. Like, it's not like autobiographical or anything, but things like that get good reviews because people who review them care about the industry. So, you need some extra sauce there, like a little like Curb Your Enthusiasm is just like so funny that it doesn't matter that it's about working in the industry. Girls is about a writer. It's about a girl who doesn't know what her career is, a college student, and a drifter. And that's why it rocks, because those are universal things that happen to most people know someone who doesn't have it together. It's just more of a normal person show. And like Sex and the City, like, yes, they're all rich, but like one's a lawyer, one is also a writer, one is an unattainable jobs. But once again, like, it's not about making a show. It's not about making content. It's not about trying to be famous. Like, I don't find those things very interesting. And I think because those people have quote unquote normal jobs, it just makes them more engaging to watch. Because they feel like things that could realistically happen to you. You know what I mean? And so far, I Love LA, aside from the Rachel Sennett character, who does work like a very normal ass job, it is not hitting for me, if you're following. And even then, like, her normal job, yes, she works in an office, but like, she's managing influencers. So what are some shows that are just about like regular people? Well, I shouldn't say regular people. I don't want like corn-fed, right? Like, I'm not from a normal place. I am from Portland, right? Like, I like engaging with shows about people that are like creative and have creative jobs, just not specifically the Los Angeles industry, not making things about how hard it is to make things. that sucks. Not that I Love LA is about how hard it is to make things, because it's not. But it is about working in the industry, and yeah, those two things kind of go hand in hand for me. Anyway, so I'm kind of moving away from TV in general. I just feel like rewatching doesn't bring me as much joy as it used to. Like, I tried restarting Succession and I really liked it, but I was like, do I want to strap in for a show I've already watched, even if I really like it? You know, do I really want to rewatch like New Girl, Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, all the girls? You know, I've seen all of those things. And even though I like them, I don't feel like I'm gaining anything new from rewatching it. It's just like there for like background comfort. And I guess I'm trying to like stay away from numbing my brain. So it's just tough that it seems like there's nothing new on TV right now that I've really been enjoying. And even some of the like HBO stuff, like I Love LA, the White Lotus and stuff this year for me, like kind of missed the mark a little bit. So it's been tough. Like, if you don't like The Summer I Turned Pretty, like you find nothing of value in that, and you don't like reality TV because you think it's evil, like I do, and you don't like just Netflix stuff, I guess, like going back and watching like sitcoms. I guess that is like the main thing I do is I'll just watch like Seinfeld or something. Oh, I've been watching a lot of Anthony Bourdain. That rocks. I love watching Anthony Bourdain. I'm making my way kind of slowly, like enjoying it, soaking it in. All 3 Anthony Bourdain TV shows, A Cook's Tour, Parts Unknown, and No Reservations. Fun fact, he had 3 shows. So there's a lot to work with. And so far it feels like if there are any that I've rewatched, because I kind of like skipped through the first pass I had at all of those. I'm trying to like watch them chronologically now. I feel like I get a lot out of it and I really enjoy it. And like, I'm kind of a foodie now, I guess, because my boyfriend works in the restaurant industry. So I think about it a lot and I really appreciate what he has to say. I like his takes on travel. And I mean, this is not unique. Like, everybody likes Anthony Bourdain, so nothing you haven't heard before, but just trying to find more stuff like that where it's really making me engage with the world around me and engage with other people and rethink, just how I treat people and treat myself. Maybe I'm like growing up or something. I don't know. But actually, you know what? I'm not, because some other things I've been liking is anime. And the only thing I've been rewatching and really enjoying as like a solid rewatch is Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I've been going through it really slowly because I want to savor it, and then I want to savor the movie because the movie's really good. And then I want to watch. I haven't seen. I think I've seen the two of the rebuilds, and then there's more now that I haven't seen. So that's kind of fun and exciting. I get a lot out of that show. I find it to be a rich text, and I think it's something where people should watch, even though I know a lot of people have like a stigma against anime. I personally don't. I fuck with it. I've watched a few different series over the years from like high school on. And yeah, I guess I've been enjoying diving more into that genre. I've also been watching the Apothecary Diaries. One of my coworkers really likes it, and I was like, I'll check this out, and I've really been enjoying it. It's kind of like a medical drama, but it's not a medical drama at all, because it takes place in like this palace, and she's not a doctor, she's an apothecary, so it's like, we're gonna mix potions, kind of, but they're like real, but they're like not real because they're not things you could actually do to save somebody's life. And she's like a poison taster, and like there's like palace intrigue and like mysteries on how are we going to solve the case today. I'm just really enjoying it, and I think the lead character, Mao Mao, I think is her name, is really cute and funny, and she's like real. Even though she's a cartoon character. So I'm really enjoying stuff like that and just tapping into my whimsy a little bit. I think that's been like satisfying my whimsy. And then Anthony Bourdain is more like, let's think about the world. And I guess Seinfeld is just Seinfeld, but those are the things I've been watching generally. I've also been back into movies, really trying to just like watch a couple movies a week, especially because I have the Criterion channel. I want to utilize it more. I've been trying to pick like a random country and genre and being like, let's watch like a French horror movie today. Let's watch a Hong Kong-based ghost story today, and finding things that fit that bill and watching them. And so far, I've really enjoyed it. That's been a good way to find stuff that I think I would not gravitate toward usually. Like I watched Rouge by Stanley Kwan. I think that's his name. That was good. That's this Hong Kong ghost story. Yeah, and that's, once again, it's just not something I would usually pick, but I liked it. Actually, that's maybe a lie. One of my favorite things that I studied in school, because I went to school for film studies, not making, studying. One of my favorite things I studied was third wave Chinese cinema, and then we dabbled in like Hong Kong cinema around the same time because they're in conversation with each other. But great films come out of China and Hong Kong. So what else? Begonia was really good. There are some good movies coming out. I'm excited about Die My Love. I haven't seen that yet. I think that comes out or came out this weekend. Sentimental Value I'm very excited about because I love Worst Person in the World. And a friend of mine also told me to go back and watch Oslo. There's a date. Yeah, also by what's his name? Trier. I can't pronounce his first name, so I'm not going to, because it's not Joachim. it's not. You don't say it like that. I think it's Joachim. My family actually is Norwegian. I don't know how to speak any of that language. I don't know how to pronounce anything. Yeah, moving on. So excited for those. Mildly excited for Marty Supreme. The marketing for it has been really funny. There's that video he just posted on Instagram where he like did a marketing meeting, and like I'm sure it was all staged. I'm sure it's all just like goofy, but I thought it was a funny concept, and I liked it as a skit. That where he's like pitching, turning like the Statue of Liberty orange, is very funny, and being like swap. Is that what he said? Anyway, whatever. It's goofy. I think he's funny. And I liked that video like a couple months ago where he's like wearing the ping pong ball head, and there's like techno playing. That rocked. So if the vibes of Marty Supreme or anything like that, I'm in. Also heard early days that reviews have been quite good. So yeah, I think movies are in a solid spot right now. I think movies are begging people to ask tough questions and think about their lives once again. I think Begonia had a lot to say about humanity and the concept of being a CEO, what it's like to be working class in America. So, I enjoyed it. Yeah, so just in general, trying to scroll less and enjoy other things more. Including, I've been writing more recently. I'm going to start doing this again. I might be thinking about going back to school. I might also be thinking about some other ways to improve my life, but I straightened my hair chemically recently, and it sort of worked. When I actually shower, it goes back to normal, but it straightens really well when I do straighten it, and I feel like the texture overall has improved pretty significantly. So, there are things to be done. Things to be done to improve our lives. I think so far this has been one. This is going to be a shorter episode, but yeah, I just wanted to remind you that I'm here and I am going to start making higher quality stuff. And I just think, there's also this theory kind of going around. I have nothing to cite. It's just like stuff I've seen on people referencing on Substack and Twitter, and I tried Googling it and there's no like hard research on this yet. I think it's just a vibe people are getting, that there's kind of a class gap on being very online. Like if you can afford to go out and do things, you're going to be less of a scroller, And I think the reverse is also true. If you have less money, you're going to be scrolling more. So I think even though a lot of us are trying to save money right now, we should not be putting the time back into the phone. We should be putting the time back into engaging ourselves and our intellect, if you know what I mean. Use your time, if not productively, then at least enrichingly. Yeah, I've really been trying to find new like podcasts and things that are gonna make me think more. So far that's been kind of a bust, because a lot of the stuff that's more like well researched, I just don't really like the vibe of. Like, I don't like an iHeartRadio ass podcast where like everybody talks like this. Do you know that I used to listen to This American Life? And I don't actually like to hear people speak like that. It really puts me off. It makes me feel like I'm not listening to a real person. So, I'm still really rocking with Benchtopia. I'm still really rocking with Jordan Teresa. Those are good. I like that they at least talk about things that make me consider things in a new light sometimes. If you have any other podcasts that are sort of in that vein, let me know. Yeah, I guess we can just end it there. Cool. Yeah, I'm podcasting again. My next one is going to be about America. Oh my God. It's going to be about American Apparel. I felt like I had to do my due diligence, because it's the name of my podcast, and I wanted to do more of a deep dive history. So I read a book, a memoir, on the shelf over here, off camera, about someone's experience working for American Apparel that was pretty eye-opening. I went into American Apparel knowing a lot about American Apparel, but I hadn't sat with accounts from people who had worked there. I just knew that Dov Charney was like an asshole and gross. So I want to do an episode on it. I think it's interesting, and I think that it's crazy that he's still a successful businessman. Even though I own some Los Angeles apparel stuff, fuck Dov Charney. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So I'll see you then. And in the meantime, yeah, leave me recommendations for things, and I hope you chill out. I hope you have a slow week. All right. See ya.